It's possible to thrive in every environment. It's just a matter of changing the way we see things and living purposeful action, making sure that you're directing your energy into things that are meaningful to you. When we're just doing things for the sake of doing things, there's certain things that we need to do, but it's finding meaning in those things that we take for granted. We need to reconnect with the meaning. Welcome back to the Joyful Mate podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Hartcher, your Joyful Journey mentor. And today I'm going to be sharing some insights and wisdom on surviving versus thriving. The reason why I'm chatting about this subject, I think it's very topical at the moment. I think a lot of us are just in that survival mode, just getting by, just ticking things over, and in a sense, not feel like that there's a lot of joy to look forward to. It's just getting through the times. Like we're going through some definitely difficult economic times. There's no doubt about that. We see it everywhere in terms of rising prices, rising costs of living, and a lot of uncertainty in terms of geopolitical uncertainty and also what the future holds around jobs security. For example, the impacts that AI is having on jobs or what it may have on jobs. And so there's a lot of uncertainty, certainly in the area I live in. There's been a recent shark attack. So there's, a bit of fear going into the ocean. Typically there wasn't. So it's all around us at the moment. And so for me, it's what do you do in these situations where you feel like you're just getting by? How can you step out of that just getting by and more into that thrival? That's what I'd like to call it, in a sense that you have this sense that you're thriving in these conditions. And you can. It's possible to thrive in every environment. It's just a matter of, I guess, changing the way we see things and living purposeful action, making sure that you're directing your energy into things that are meaningful to you. When we're just doing things for the sake of doing things, yes, there's certain things that we need to do, but it's finding meaning in those things that we take for granted, that we just, it's just another day of doing this. We need to reconnect with the meaning of that, of what you're doing that you think is just mundane. There is meaning. You wouldn't be doing it otherwise if it wasn't purposeful. And so it's reconnecting. And this is what I find a lot of what happens with burnout is disassociation, disconnection. So disconnecting from self, disconnecting from others, disconnecting from the environment. It's very much becoming isolated, but it's a sense, a feeling of disconnection. You can actually be connected physically, but it's a sense that you're feeling that you're disconnected. And this can be a fear response because of what's going on, in a sense that there's so much uncertainty, you disassociate in order to survive. And it's a mechanism that we have to help us survive through difficult times. In a sense, when we're extremely fearful, we have this dissociative effect with our body so that we can endure pain if we're suffering. And so we have this natural survival instinct within us. However, if we're not getting eaten or being attacked physically, then we don't want to have this massive disassociation with life and disconnection with meaning, because what it does is just make us feel like we're just going through a grind, when in actual fact, every day is a blessing. Every day is something to ultimately embrace because it's different. There's nothing the same about every day unless you see it that way. If you focus on the sameness, you'll see more of the sameness. If you focus on the variety, you'll start to see more variety. And so this is really fundamental. It's the way we see things. If we look for boredom, we find boredom. If we look for variety, we find an abundance of variety. What we focus on expands. What we focus on, we give more energy to. And so if we give more energy to boredom, we give more energy to just another day, it will be just another day. However, we can shift that perception as to what's different about today and focus on the differences and embrace the differences and start to find meaning or reconnect with the meaning behind everyday tasks so that it doesn't feel like just another day and going through the motions. You can find joy and happiness in every action you take if you choose to look at it in that way, that why am I doing this? Why is this so important to me? And when you ask that question, you'll get the answer. So if you're feeling disassociated with life or disconnected and feeling that it's just battling through periods of time, we're just throwing away our life. Reconnect with every action. And if you can't find the connection, or if it's lost its meaning, don't do it anymore. That's a way of delegating or a way of just letting go of what used to be that is no longer. That's okay. We all grow. We all go through phases and seasons. So it's really important that we do meaningful action each day. And it gives us meaning. It gives us joy. It gives us fulfillment. The other one is not to do actions just simply to get validation or approval or acknowledgement or praise. Do things because they're important to you. And that might not mean getting praise. It might mean getting criticism. But if it feels good to you, it doesn't matter what other people think. So do things that are meaningful and important and valuable to you, regardless of what other people think. And that is liberating. That is where you'll feel this sense, a great sense of freedom, because you're not living other people's lives. You're living your own life. And there's nothing more fulfilling than living your own life. So if you're feeling this scattered, disassociative, just surviving times, start to look for the differences, look and connect with meaning behind what you're doing and embrace that and focus on that. What you focus on expands. What you focus on draws energy. So make sure it's meaningful. Make sure you're directing your energy into meaningful action and you'll get more energized. If you do things that are not meaningful, we lose energy. We're essentially dissipating energy. So if you want more vitality, do things that are more meaningful to you. And if you need help in terms of finding meaningful and valuable action because you're so disassociated, please reach out. I'm happy to help direct you. I can direct you into more meaningful, purposeful actions for you by just asking questions. Nothing more. You find the answers. I just ask the questions. So if you need help, please reach out. Click in the show notes, click on the link, book a free session with me, and I can help get you started into more meaningful actions during uncertain and difficult times. And until next time, continue to look for more joy and experience more fulfillment by taking meaningful action. Please share it with others that you believe that will find value in these insights. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Joyful Mate podcast.